flipped the wrong way round. Okay. Hi there. Welcome to the Noah Presgrove case, looking at the latest breaking news as of what's going on at this moment in time. It's also important for me to give my perspective because when new things happen, it can be a bit exciting, it can be a bit shocking. For some, it can be emotionally, challenging, whatever it is. But in this situation, I just want to put things into perspective, highlight what is the current situation. And whilst I go through this video, whilst Andrea is watching in the background, I will need to adjust my hair because the camera on this device flips it around. So it's not like it's like a mirror or something. So because it's flipped, the hair looks different. But beside that, welcome Joyce Bergau. We've got Ellen as well, George Chodem, Michelle Brummett. And what I've got and what I can do, I do have the device beside me, other one, which can be used to look at some of the Facebook post and, if possible, share it with you on screen. I know some people will be already familiar with it, but just so you get an idea of what I'm actually talking about. And we got EJ, that's good. You see what's on the door. Good eyesight, exactly. Well, EJ, as we've seen, there's a few people here and there that do watch and point out and make observations when there's other stuff going on. And I thought, well, let's just add to it. I don't think there'll be any conspiracies about that. Some people could say that's like a plant, that's like a spy back there. It's listening in, gaining intel. But yeah. So I can give a bit of an introduction as in what's kind of happened in recent time on top of what's recently come about. So, the odd new crime committed, links to party goers that once attended, as in with September 2023, that specific party involving Noah's death. But there is like for and against arguments along the way. The Presgrove prayer, Mikey is not in custody. I updated my post. Okay, well, I've not seen the Presgrove Project post, just that I came across the mugshot. And it's important because there was like one post or a repost from a site called Jailbird. And when I tried to go back on that, it said the website is unsafe. So we've got some dodgy activity, some dodgy websites going on. Don't worry, didn't click on any certain links. It's all fine. But I think there's a little bit of misinformation, or at least there might have been just recent on Mikey Lair compared to what's actually come about. We've got Michelle Brummett. He was released on bond. Michelle, are you talking about Mikey or more so Ace Franco? Because I'm only hearing about it today. I believe Ace Franco, to do with those charges, getting in trouble, breaking the law previously, already did a video on, if you remember. Right. Okay. And there we go. Is it Linda? I can't tell because the on the live stream on here, the usernames don't show, but the tag handles do. So we've got Plan for Your Wellness from Sweden. Good evening. Welcome. It's good that you're here. So we get a crossover of different people. A very positive start already, the amount of people showing up. So very short, I can just jump on into it, give you my thoughts. But yeah, just a heads up, using a different device. So hopefully the audio is okay. Let me know if there's any issues. And hopefully visually, that should be okay too. This is only the second time of doing a live stream on this newer device, and provided it continues on and works out, then that's all good, and I'll keep up with that. Whether that be Kenny Veach case, Noah Presgrove, really anything, I would argue and say, in fairness, probably these type of videos, especially true crime, and more so when it's the discussion stuff and what's going on in recent time, probably is best as a live stream because then it also allows people to share their thoughts. What else do we have? Presgrove Project, he's facing robbery charges. But I will refer back to a previous post of other claims that were made. We've got yellow links. Good evening. Well, good that you're here. And, if there's any people that aren't too familiar with the Noah Presgrove case, or you coming on over from the Kenny Veach case, you need any questions or any answers, you can leave it below. Let's catch up with some of the comments here. Ellen, Michael, what were his charges? Yeah, that's been resolved now. That's been sorted, explained. Ellen, no issues here. You look cute as ever. Appreciate that, Ellen. Kind of you. Key West, welcome. It's good that you're here. I keep seeing lots of pink profile pictures. Hi, Ref. You're well. Appreciate that. And hope yours too. You mean what's online, or did you call and talk to the staff? Plan for your wellness. Spider freaks me out. Well, let's hope it doesn't move. In the past, when I was doing a video, it got about a little bit. But yeah, what I'm going to just do, just for a second, I might try some polls too. I'm going to maybe test one now. I forgot to do it last time round. Start poll. What could be an interesting one? So if you hear any typing, that's just me. I just thought kick it off first with the I'll call it recent because of 2025. With the recent crimes committed. I'm just wondering, will it have enough character space? Because sometimes you can only fit so much in, you know me, when it comes to typing. Welcome to anyone else joining the live. What I also want to say is, because it's on a different device and layout setup, there might be breaks in between. And if there are breaks, if anything needs repeating after or before, just feel free to leave a comment in the chat and I can go back over what I was talking. And when there are breaks in between, feel free to get a drink, get some food, do whatever you need to do, or just stretch your body, because it can get quite intense. It can get quite focused and heavy when it comes to live streams, of course, and just the case in general, because you can talk about the themes of how involved do people get in cases like this and what position are they in, and is it practical for them to do so? So recent crimes committed by, we'll call it former partygoers, and people can't complain. You get an idea of introspection by me when it comes to doing this. Former partygoers, crimes committed by former partygoers could, because as with the Mikey Lair situation, you've got to take in mind that Snapchat as well from the past of 527. Could they be doing it one-handed? There is dash. And if you've got any questions or any theories, thoughts, new ideas, feel free to leave it in the chat and I can get to it shortly. Yes, no, I don't know. Right, just a bit of a basic one, or more so a vague one, but just to get things going. Presgrove project. He, as in what? Mikey was involved in a robbery involving a 2013 Honda taken in Oklahoma to Texas. Carjacking or so. I didn't read the phone. I meant they just read the first couple of lines to me over the phone. Yeah, I did not read the full. Okay, that's fine. Right, so just prepare yourself, because I was careful with language and wording, because the original claim, and this is just, let me just make sure everything's clear on screen. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So hopefully it shows on screen. I've got to remember it's bloody mirrored. Ah. I will read out in just a second. So that's Mikey Lair. Does look different now compared to a few years ago. This was posted on Facebook recently. Okay. And you might have picked up on the odd mistake or so. Do you know what? I'm a bit petty with the hair today. Should have brushed it better. Yeah, I'm not too pleased with that. So the issue is how it was originally portrayed and this is just for the full context. An individual posted it on one of the pages, whether that be, which one, does it say which one it was on? No, I don't think it does, because you try clicking on it and then it says it's unavailable. Well, it's called jailbirds.com. Let's be honest, jailbirds.com sounds a bit of a dodgy website, and it says it's unsafe. It was on the Noah Presgrove Case discussion group, and as we know, case discussion group, people do complain about it. Oh, there we go. We've got the Hood Boys. Good about your hair. Welcome. And what the claim was, I mean, the person that made the post was questioning, can we believe in it? Is it the truth or not? So there's hesitancy, which is a good thing. But Mikey Lair, the claim, and it might surprise you, it's incorrect, I believe, but the original claim on the website was assault and battery, but it's robbery. I don't know why they've classified it as assault and battery, unless somehow that was involved in the process, but the official stuff didn't seem to mention that. Jailbirds is a local newspaper that just prints mugshots. Well, it looks like they got the information wrong. And it's important to talk about this whilst we're here, because if people read the wrong article or the wrong post, they'll be thinking, wait, Mikey Lair involved in robbery and 2013 Honda vehicle, right? But then they see he's involved in assault and battery. The hell's going on there? And look, this is the thing. These are separate crimes, and it's years on post Noah's death. But because it's party goers that were once at that party around Noah, who could be capable of certain things, it's about comparing and putting it into perspective, as in the type of crime, how severe it is, and how specific it is. So the Ace Franco situation can link more back to Noah Presgrove, because that's to do with a discharge of a firearm within a vehicle or so, and then I believe battery 2. And when you think of any form of physicality, any form of violence, threatening behavior, if you believe that Noah Presgrove was supposedly murdered and or foul play, and you've got certain party goers or former party goers that are now committing certain crimes, and there's a bit of a crossover or an overlap, well then, you can't help but think, because people like to refer back to some party goers, what they might have done, bad actions before the party. Why not critique and look at those that did bad stuff after, and question, were certain bad actions from any kind of trauma, any kind of psychological negative side effect of what they witnessed, heard at the party, and how it shaped them down the line, how they changed. Who knows? Look at it in different ways. Mike Johnson says, robbery, right up your alley, Michael. Oh no, it's already starting. Ellen, there were so many different ones up yesterday, it got me confused. Ellen, are you referring to there was different posts about Mikey and what he supposedly had done? Is that what you mean? I think them all in the States. Mine. Oh, there we go. We've got Strawberry. Welcome, Strawberry. Good about your hair. And I guess welcome back, Strawberry, to the Noah Presgrove case. I've not really been covering it since, for the last month, I've been covering the Kenny Veach case, which is, there's a lot going on there, a lot. But, what we're looking at today in recent time is kind of breaking news, so that's why it needs to be covered. Try and keep on top of it. So if anyone has joined a bit late or so, we're looking at a mugshot of Mikey Lair. Okay, that's Mikey Lair there. And that's the original claims, or one of the claims made, which is incorrect. The offence is not that, it is robbery. Now, there is a more official document which we can take a look at. A couple of different people had reposted it on Facebook on different areas. Tim Daniel did as well. we'll have a look at that one because there's a bit more comments. I think there's like nearly 300 comments. Not that I'm going to read them all out, but I can skim through, see people's opinions and perspectives. Besides Mikey, with Ace Franco more so, will there be any response from Justin Roy? Who knows? I mean, we can also go back over what's gone down in recent time, just in case there's anyone unfamiliar. Let's see, George. Interesting that Mikey did that co-joint robbery on the 3rd of November and Ace was due in court on the 4th of November, but was a no-show. Now he's on the run. So was he with Mikey? I mean, based on that timing, that does seem very strange, of course, and interesting too. Okay. It's a very interesting connection. And if they're the correct dates, well then, yeah. Considering what Presgrove Project is saying, that Mikey was involved in stealing, robbery of a vehicle to get about from place to place, to go to Texas. The question is, if anyone can answer it, does anyone know where Ace Franco lives? And I don't mean specific, I mean what state. Is Ace Franco from Texas? Was he supposed to be attending court appearance in Texas? You know, just rough questions like that, just to try and figure out, is there a true link? George, so yeah, another Justin Roy nephew is popping up. Isaac Camarillo? Right. How do you mean, George? Popping up where? Popping up in the news? Popping up online? Ellen, and Ace is also Justin Roy's nephew. Yes, Ellen, I believe so. And the important thing is, Ellen, supposedly Ace Franco did attend the party which Noah was at. There is conflicting stuff in regard to when Ace left the party. I think there was a comment once on Facebook where the mother, the actual mother to Ace, said he left Sunday night. And I think Justin Roy at one point was saying Ace, he left on Monday, but it was before 2 or before 1 in the morning. So it's a little bit all over the place. That's okay, Ellen. You question whatever you need to question. We've got patience here. As long as there's patience, there'll be understanding. Michael, yes, Ace and Isaac Camarillo are Justin's nephews. The question is, Michelle, was Isaac Camarillo at the party? Why is Isaac's blue car being discussed? Where exactly? Is that on one of the pages? Presgrove Project, it just said 2013 Honda, which could be a vehicle or ATV motorcycle. I'm not sure what it is. Fair enough. Yes, Ace did attend. He still has not been interviewed by the IHP OSBI. Very interesting situation. Right. So, was there any actual comments? If I say it to the latest comments, did anyone acknowledge? Person called Lisa, let's not forget this is the same guy that used to bash the heads in of squirrels and possums with golf clubs. Right. Some person's claiming that Mikey Lair was known to smash squirrels and possums' heads in. Never heard of that before. So what? Someone's going to try and make a link there to say, well, if a squirrel's head can be bashed in with a golf club, then a golf club must have been used on Noah. Oh, no. Oh, someone did make a link about that as well, I see. Clip. Wow, it's looking like several of the partygoers and some of the parents are not what we'd consider upstanding, law-abiding citizens. I mean, look, it doesn't just have to be partygoers. It could be friends of the partygoers, family members, parents of the partygoers. It could even maybe tie on, I guess, with people in the community as well. I mean, look at, was it Melissa LeQuay, what she was involved in, what she did. And she was supposed to be an advocate for Noah Presgrove and justice. Not a good representative, not a good role model. Wasn't it a blue Charger that was supposedly seen on the side of a road? Yes, he was. On Saturday, things got nasty. Things got nasty on a Saturday, is that so? Jack and Noah top break up a fight that Isaac had started on Saturday. I mean, I've not been around for the last month, so has this just recently come out? His car was spotted on Monday morning on the highway where Noah's body would be found later. Right, so what I'm guessing this is to do with what? Isaac Camarillo, that might have started or involved in a fight. Jack and Noah having to break it up. Happened on a Saturday, and then on a Monday, Isaac Camarillo's car what spotted on the highway. I said I'm interpreting this on the spot. Oh, we got Mitchell. Welcome. If both of Justin Roy's nephews attended the party, why not press them to talk to OHP like he did with Caden Pressey? Well, that's the thing, Mitchell. When it comes to Justin Roy, bit of an unusual mindset. Pushy in some ways with some people, but then when it comes to his own people, it'll be like, well, no one's come knocking. The police haven't questioned or prompted, so they must be innocent. No need to follow it up. No need to bother whatsoever. What, bury head in the sand? Is it not just best just to get it out the way, or maybe just prompt the police, are my nephews, do they need to be questioned, spoken to in any shape or format? Instead of just leaving it be and just burying your head in the sand to ultimately come to some kind of closure. Are you needed? Yes or no? Are you questioned? Yes or no? With Caden Pressey, Caden would have been in that same situation, but for some reason, Justin felt it was his duty to try and encourage Caden and encourage a connection with police. Why couldn't Justin have that same mentality with his nephews? Is it because conflict of interest? Because it's to do with family? So there's emotional ties, not wanting to be as pushy. Let's see. This fight had been known since day one, but never talked about. Well, that's very strange, George. I'm surprised it wasn't talked about more. Of course, if I knew, I would have talked about it, to some capacity at least. It does appear every time their names came up, even recently, it got diverted to somebody else. Presgrove Pro that Justin asked them too. Well, if that's said, that's good, Michael. The only problem is, it's just how Justin has presented himself, and his attitude doesn't always link or cross over to his actions in the background. So it's hard to follow. But that's just how one presents themselves. Andrea, George, more like the story has been suppressed for some odd reason. I just want to catch up with the comments whilst we're going along, just so I don't miss out on anything. And so it brings me up to date. Michelle, it was rumored that the nephews had gone between the party and Justin's campsite. What, coming and going, starting off at the campsite, going on down to the party, and then leaving the party at the same time and going back down to the campsite? I mean, that type of theme of going from one place to another, kind of like the dove hunting, the Friday, Saturday crossover. How many from the dove hunt came on down to the party? Yeah. Yes, always brings someone else up and never mentions his nephews. Someone had said back in September 2023 that blue car had something to do with Noah's death. I mean, welcome to anyone that is watching the live stream. Feel free to rewind back if you're able. And if not, we're just looking at some of the latest breaking news from Ace Franco being classified as supposedly on the run. Mikey Lair, a mugshot emerging, being involved in a robbery. A supposed crossover between Ace Franco attending court, or supposed to be on the 4th, and then the day before, Mikey doing a robbery of a vehicle. And that vehicle, some are suggesting, could have been used to help Ace escape or get from one place to another. But if that was to Texas, would that make any sense? Going back and forth. Okay, Michelle. About the claim. Let's just see the poll results whilst we're here. Wow, 21 votes. That's really good to see. Almost everyone has voted. Shout out to them. At the moment, 50% believe that the recent crimes committed by those former partygoers could be linked to Noah's death. and the other 50% are kind of unsure. I'll just type, be a bit active. Welcome to this. Because, of course, there'll always be people watching in the background. Though, when it comes to some people lurking, it might not always be for the positive reasons. Okay. And there we go, Brenda. Welcome back, Brenda. Evening. Discussed. Why did the nephew skip out on his bond? Right. Check any more comments on here. They said inaccurate and false. Appears to be, yes. Thank you for sharing. And then we got some more updated ones. Then I'll just make sure I get the correct one up. Well, that's one of them. Do you know what? We'll use this one whilst we're here. It's actually the LSCN. So this was a screenshot that was provided on that inaccurate post, and hopefully it's somewhat visible because people would have probably seen it. Apologies about the reflection. I will read it out to you. This is the proper one in regard to Mikey Lair. Okay, it's like a screenshot which someone provided. Okay. Count 1, conjoint robbery. Conjoint, I guess that means 2 people, Mikey and somebody else in partnership doing a robbery. Interesting. Date of offence, the 11th, which I'm guessing is the 11th month, November the 3rd, 2025. I know the dates tend to be flipped around compared to the UK. It's a pain in the arse. Party name, but not literally Partygoer. Michael Lair, also known as Mikey Lair. The one that was called Mike Tyson at the party when Brylan Sweat was introducing him on camera. Docket. Date. The 11th of the 20th, 2025. Criminal felony, initial filing, document available. As well, defendant Michael Lair was charged with count 1, conjoint robbery in violation. Affidavit, document available. OCIS has automatically assigned Judge Tupper Michael D to this case. Conjoint robbery. Is it worth searching that up? Conjoint robbery. If you wonder why I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking at a different device just whilst I'm talking, because it means I can relay stuff on. Because when using the normal device, I can't switch over just because it'll just disappear. Mikey was brought to the party to fight. Ooh. Mikey was brought to the party to fight Noah. Conjoint means 2 or more people involved. Yeah. To say or more than 2, that's rather interesting. How many people does it really need? What type of crew would Mikey be rolling with? It was what? When Caden Pressey was dropping off the likes of Mikey and Brylan and Isaac, which pair was it that was dropped off together? Isaac and Brylan? Was Mikey dropped off alone? I'm just trying to work out possible combinations of people. But when you say Mikey was brought to the party to fight Noah, that sounds rather specific. I know I've heard that when it came to Sunday afternoon, evening time, when Noah Presgrove was coming back to the party, pickup ride, supposedly Gage Jessen. Noah gets in as a passenger, and then on the way down, picking up Mikey Lair as well. I can't remember if Mikey was familiar with Noah at that point or not, but it's interesting how Michael words it as Mikey was brought to the party to fight Noah, yet supposedly Noah and Mikey were in the same vehicle going on down to the party. Go watch the video. Well, the video of Brylan Sweat of introducing Mikey on screen, one-on-one with Mike Tyson. Yeah, I heard that line. If you mean that is then later what followed up with a fight between Noah and Mikey. It was mentioned by Caden Pressey, right? That Noah and Mikey were wrestling and it wasn't that deep. Oh, we got Robbie Taylor. Welcome back. Not seen you for a while. I've never heard that Mikey was brought to fight Noah. But even if that's the case, that Mikey was brought to the party to fight Noah, how come all this time it's been worded that when Noah was picked up by Gage Jessen, Mikey Lair also was picked up too in that same vehicle? If Mikey is going to the party to fight Noah, and yet Mikey's already in the same small space with Noah in a vehicle before even getting to the party, what with the punching and kicking each other in the back seat? The hell's going on there? It's so weird. So on top of the breaking news and stuff, we're getting more things. So we got car boxing, we got wrestling in the back seats. Get the seatbelts off. That was get your head trapped in the door or so. Ooh, interesting. To bring someone down directly for a fight, it sounds like there's a form of planning, a form of foul play. What, you want to rough Noah Presgrove up? Ellen, sounds like a rumor or somebody's opinion. I mean, who brought him? Caden Pressey brought him to fight Noah. Not aware of Caden now in that situation. Conjoint robbery, legal term referring to a robbery offence committed by two or more individuals acting together. Means joined or combined. There we go. That was just to double check. Shared liability under legal doctrines like joint enterprise, all persons can be held criminally responsible. All there. Robbery is already a serious felony, but committing it with others can sometimes lead to more severe charges or harsher sentencing considerations, depending on the specifics of the case. Now, was there any details in regard to the robbery? Was any weapons used? Any threatening behavior there? If they're going to start rumors, they need to make sure they're not implicating one of their own. Presgrove Project, I believe Mikey was used as a pawn by one of the girls. Now, how close was Mikey to the girls, or maybe the birthday party girl? Because, I don't know, Mikey came along. Was Mikey invited? You know, the invite thing was made public, I believe, on Instagram by Howard Avery Combs originally. So really anyone could come on down, a bit of a free-for-all. That's why more people didn't go on down. If you make a public post online, you'll be surprised how many people could see it, locals and further on. And if they know that there might be alcohol, it could encourage even more to come on down. Right. So one thing partially down. Oh, we got Tigger, Killer Kitty, Meow. Welcome. I thought Mikey Fish hooked Noah and Noah bit his finger. Well, yeah, that's what supposedly happened. Yeah. Mikey thought Noah had his phone, which was later found under someone else. Yeah, supposedly Caden Pressey was leaning or sat on it. It's interesting how Mikey thought the worst. So his impulsive action was must use a form of physicality on Noah. Within bowshot, I've never heard of this case. Can you explain it like I am 5 years of age? Okay, well, I'll try and do that within bowshot. 4-day party. September of 2023, starting from September 1st and ultimately ending September 4th. Noah Presgrove, 19-year-old white male, we're in Oklahoma, went on down to a party house where friends were in Terrell, the town. Birthday girl, Avery, I believe her 22nd birthday, invited friends down and others and possibly strangers in between. For most part of it, it seemed okay, the party, the odd fight, argument here and there, but ultimately, when it came to Monday, Labor Day of 2023, Noah Presgrove ended up walking away to cool off at 3:30 in the morning and did not return back. And then around 4 in the morning onwards, some of the partygoers went out searching, couldn't find, returned back to the house and kind of shrugged it off. Wasn't reported as a missing person, even though Noah was technically missing. And then officially or so, 5:53, call made by a passerby on the highway who was in a Ford F-150 known as Tyler Hardy. Another individual, some minutes before that, at 5:43, known as Tyler Hoodman, a trucker, made a call too to police dispatch, announcing a naked body was found on the side of the highway, and that was later to be Noah Presgrove. Ever since, it's gone back and forth as in how it happened and why Noah was the way he was, and the injuries too, with internal decapitation, broken ribs, broken vertebrae, bruising on one of his back heels or some, grazes, scrapes more dominated on the left side and shoulder upwards. People say there's a lack of blood at the scene around Noah, but due to the injuries and how it could have gone about, the internal bleeding, and some of the blood being soaked up by a couple of towels or sheets. So bow shot, hopefully that's clear enough. I tried summarizing it. I wouldn't have gone into every single detail because then it just starts dragging out, but if there's any more questions, I'll try and provide them. Andrea to Bowshot, there's two main theories: beaten to death or car accident of some sort. Lots of red herrings, lots of rumors. You're welcome, Bowshot. I'm just wondering, beaten to death or a car accident? I mean, I think I would have done some theory-based videos where it could fall in between that, or it could be more outside of the box. You can have an accident which still involves foul play. Something that wasn't meant to happen, went too far, went wrong, people panicked and then decided to incriminate themselves by, such as moving the body. That's just an example of how an accident can then be transferred into a form of foul play. When it's done with a form of intent, a crime already committed there, chances of foul play following, very likely. Okay, have a little drink whilst I'm here. Not literally a drink, just juice. What's the motive for allegedly bringing Lair to the party to fight Noah? Yeah. Is it done as a form of revenge? Because when it comes to Mikey Lair, either, as Caden would say, was with him at the highway when finding Noah's body, or wasn't and still at the house, unaware of Noah's death as people were laying back in bed. 5:27 a.m. the Snapchat. But Noah walked away at 3:30. And from Caden's point of view, 5:15 onwards when the news came about. So it's what happened between 3:30 to just before 5:15 involving Mikey Lair. let's not forget Mikey Lair, whilst he was on the floor at one point when Caden Pressey was going to sleep. Don't mean to say Mikey truly went to sleep. He may have been resting. It's been said that Mikey supposedly never actually went to sleep. He was just merely resting, eyes open all the time or most of the time. When Caden went to sleep at 2 in the morning? At 2:32, supposedly Mikey Lair was outside on the front porchway under one of those traffic barrels. And Pepe Guam, a Texas boy, was beside him. So nothing bad going on there, but it shows that Mikey Lair was on the move, whilst Caden first saw Mikey on the floor and assumed that he remained there, but Mikey was on the move doing other stuff in between. So when Caden went back to sleep at 3 in the morning or 3:20, depending on which one you believe from his interviews, the next time Caden claimed to have woken up was 5:15. So just before that, what else was Mikey Lair doing? Where else was he going? Did he have a phone on him? And did he have it with him when he was on the move? I wonder. To just be invited down to fight someone seems a bit odd. And, those that are saying that. So, Michael, do you remember Caden Pressey originally referring to Mikey wrestling Noah and Noah dominating? You remember that? Let's catch up with some of the comments here. George, so when Jack and Noah broke up the fight that Isaac Camarillo started, it appears Isaac might not have taken it well. So we need to use first and last names so people don't get confused. Because if you say Isaac, who? Isaac Rojas? No. Isaac Camarillo. Or just say Isaac C and then Isaac R so people don't get confused. It's only like when you get CN, Caleb Newton or Colton Newton. Just so there's no confusion. Right, what I'll do. Right, good amount of people voting. We'll end the poll there. And 1st of December. I could. Actually, will it let me in this one? Technically, it will. Okay, so Christmas has come early. Warlike Claus has delivered. There you go. Oh, there you go. Andrea received one. And Robbie. Shazza, also known as Sharon. We've got another Sharon about. Take in mind, when it comes to gifted memberships, it is at random. So you can't control who gets it or not. But a good amount of people got it. That's nice. And a person called Mike. Come across a couple of Mikes in recent time. Hood Boys. Maybe he wasn't liked by a couple of people. That's why they say they don't know anything or were asleep. It's possible Noah had bad blood with some and others he thought would always have his back. I mean, is it possible that any parties from previous weeks, months, followed over with a grudge or not? Start a poll. Let's just type this in first. Do you believe Mikey to fight Noah? Yes. No. Yes. Only to fight. I don't know. No, we'll keep it simple. Where's question mark gone? When I say the question to fight Noah specifically, and maybe under the conditions to actually cause some form of harm. Start a poll. Let's just type this in first. Do you believe Mikey to fight Noah? Yes. No. Yes. Only to fight. I don't know. No, we'll keep it simple. When I say the question to fight Noah specifically, and maybe under the conditions to actually cause some form of harm. It's not new. Not new, but is it talked about enough? See, it's strange because this type of stuff, it gets brought up now or in the moment, but if it's true, it's extremely important. And the extremely important stuff like this just doesn't get talked about enough. Or maybe it's worded differently so it comes across different. See, when it came to, oh, what's his name? Was it Chris Pyatt? Chris Pyatt, besides supposedly hitting something and reporting it into police, Chris Pyatt did leave a comment at one point referring to an abandoned white vehicle on the side of the highway, very close to where Noah's body was to be found. And then another stranger online said, well, their husband noticed it too. And Chris referenced it was there for a few days before Noah's death, leading up, or at the time of Noah's death and onwards. I don't know which way around it was. And then later, in a different conversation, it was brought up about it wasn't an abandoned white vehicle. It wasn't an abandoned white van. It was a white car that was driving down the highway and then parked up or stopped. And either someone got out or it just stayed there for a bit and then drove off. At the time of when Jack was there, there's a difference between a white car and a white van. There's a difference between it being abandoned and left there for days and it just coming and going. So just the general wording there, an absolute disaster in the case. No wonder why it can come across as two separate events. That's why language and wording is important, or at least the effort and attempt to do that is. What else? George, Isaac also terrorized Carter and her friend at the cemetery. George, are you referring to Isaac Camarillo or Isaac Rojas for clarity? Ah, oh, he said Isaac C. Fair enough. Justin Roy knew about the cemetery stuff, but of course it wasn't discussed because it'd be his nephew terrorizing some girls at a dang cemetery. Why were they at the cemetery and who for? Is this to do with Noah? Noah's grave or? Ah, there we go. We've got TJ. Welcome back. Hey, Raf. Sure hope you found something that ties the Partygoer to Noah's crime. Well, there's some possible crossovers that could be made. We've got Stephen. Welcome. Someone said he dished a girl and the parents wanted him off. They should have looked into Noah's girlfriend. Robbie, Noah and Jack breaking up that fight over the car with Justin's nephew seems like a huge motive to me. Justin's nephew showed up and wanted revenge, probably jealous over Carter too. Presgrove, quite the contrary. We've been wanting the attention on Justin's nephews so they can finally get interviewed. Well, Sam, Ellen kind of sounds like they're wanting to get the attention off of Justin Roy's nephews again. Another curveball. I'm just going to head back on over to the Facebook area. Sam, if anyone has joined late, we've just had a look at Mikey Lair, that the date of the offence, which was conjoint robbery, supposedly of a vehicle, with another individual or more, which occurred the 11th of the 20th, 2025. And I believe he has been released on custody or released at this moment in time. I'm sure there will be a follow-up. That Mikey Lair is not on the run, but others are suggesting that Ace Franco is, and we will head on over to Ace Franco. And then I can possibly refer to some other things which have gone about in recent time, in case people don't know or it's been forgotten about. Just double check. Let me just see the comments as well with the Mikey Lair post. And then why have their names either never or seldom been mentioned, and why does it get denied every time? All Justin's information comes from his family members he always framed gets info from partygoers. We've got Criminal Med. Welcome. Let's go about your hair. George, Ace's bond has been forfeited the full amount. So I guess that's not a good sign. Oh, Linda says this is inaccurate and false, and this is actually on the official one. Weird. Person said, not sure what robbery has to do with Noah's death. This is the ignorance from humans because some people like to jump in on, is it Carter or Avery for speeding before the party? Speeding, not quite getting in trouble, slap on the wrist. Oh, it highlights corruption and a person doing a bad thing, breaking the law. Yeah, it's bad. But then you got people onwards ever since doing battery, robbery, forms of violence, possible threatening behavior. I think that's a bit worse, don't you think? At the end of the day, all these different people, before Noah's death, after Noah's death, some have committed crimes, broken laws and rules. And although they're individual and they don't link directly to Noah's case, Noah's death, it's the fact that you have people capable of such things with a certain attitude or mindset. And for Noah to be around people like that doesn't sound like a safe space to be. So, as much as some like to go all in on some partygoers about what they've done prior to Noah's death, I think we need to look and acknowledge the other partygoers, defendants or not, that were partygoers and ever since have done certain crimes, bad actions. Have they done that as a result, partially because of some kind of psychological issues, gone down a dark pathway because they've been affected by Noah's death? Or were they always that way? And it might not be the first time. Who knows? We got to look at in different perspectives. Brenda, I asked Linda what's false, and it appears that they did not respond back, which is unfortunate. That's true, Andrea. Justin Roy does say he gets information from partygoers a lot. How many family members did he have at the party? So, Mitchell, Justin claimed originally about 10 to 11 of his family were down at the party. Oh, there you go. Joyce put the number in just then. Let's just see the poll results as this moment in time. Do you believe Mikey was brought to the party to fight Noah? 38% say yes, 33% say no, and 29% say I don't know. Interesting. Welcome to anyone else that has joined this live stream. If there's any breaks in between, feel free to get a drink, get some food, stretch your body. Even though I'm standing, I can still feel crippled at times. It just happens. I could lay down on the floor and stretch, but then I'd dissipate off camera and then it just looks a bit weird. George. So the odds of even one of Justin's relatives having something to do with Noah's death would be quite favourable. Ellen, I thought Jasmine Milan, until all this stuff happened was you might be talking about a different JM. I don't know, because I think there's like two different JMs. You got Jasmine Milan, and then what? There's someone called Jody. It's hard to keep up with all the names. Robbie, yeah, and they're being kept out of the narrative purposefully because of that. There's certain partygoers not been mentioned enough. Focus mentioned elsewhere. And if these certain set individuals are responsible for that, they're the same individuals that end up whining and saying, well, like Raf, you're too biased for showing too much perspective. What? It's unusual. Was there any other points? Not seen much from Partners in True Crime ever since, I don't. I mean, have you heard of anything from Partners in True Crime? Any updates? What's this one? Mike Johnson says, I have thought it was weird that Mikey or Brylan weren't included in the suit. I don't. Is Mike Johnson still about? So when you made that comment, the suit, are you talking about the wrongful death lawsuit, as in defendants? Hmm, maybe. Maybe that's what you're referring to. What do we have? Presgrove, neither one of them lived there or had constructive control of the property, so they cannot be included in the lawsuit. Well, Val Patrol aren't in control of the property, but they're still included in it for certain reasons. But, you know, what you got to acknowledge is there was John Jane Doe, John Jane Doe's unnamed individuals that are tied in with the wrongful death lawsuit, whoever they are, whether that does include Mikey, Brylan, anyone else in between. Right, we'll leave that one there for now. Get rid of that other one. And try and focus in on Ace Franco, of course. Right, One Day Ago by Tim Daniel, just because it was the closed one that showed up on screen. If it will allow me to show the photo. Yeah, the John Jane Does, that's exactly what I said. You still got them people, whoever they are. You can let me know who you think they could be, if you had to guess. Now, is Facebook being a bit of a twat? Looks like it. Typical. At least Facebook is reminding me of how incompetent it is, or how incompetent it can be. Oh yeah, great Facebook. Don't even bother showing the image. I've got more success in probably saving it. There we go. And then I'll just add it to wherever it needs to go. Do it this way. It's a long-winded way, but will it show on screen? Not really, but hopefully. I'll read it out to do with Ace Franco. In case anyone's wondering, you can, well, I don't know if you can pause a live or not. So, warrant issued failed to appear. Use of a vehicle and discharge of a weapon originally. Right. I'm just going to have a look at it and see what it says. So this is to do with November, I believe. If the date's the correct way around. Judge Hudson, the defendant fails to appear for preliminary hearing conference on the 11th of the 4th, 2025. The bond is ordered for warrant is to issue. Bond is denied until arraignment. And then the status of the bond entry detailed in docket serial has changed to read as follows. Professional bond for Ace Franco posted by Knudsen Eric. And it said, what's the bond? $50,000, or at least it was originally $50,000, quite a bit. Then bench warrant issued, failed to appear. Judge Perry Hudson, bond amount count 1. So these were the original charges as of 2025, some months ago. Count 1, use of a vehicle in discharge of a weapon, hold without bond. And count 2, assault with a dangerous weapon, hold without bond. battery, I believe it might have been referred to at one point. Oklahoma Core Information System Revolving Fund. I think at the end of the day, right? Just for a second. When you've got assault with a dangerous weapon and use of a vehicle in discharge of a weapon, this is separate from the case of Noah. Yet people are saying that Noah Presgrove was murdered, Noah Presgrove was attacked, there was violence, there was a weapon involved. And it just so happens that a person that's capable of doing such things like that, or to some extent threatening behavior and physicality, was at the party. So even if Ace Franco didn't do this back then, was he capable of doing it back then? And it happened later. Because if so, Noah Presgrove was around a dangerous person. And it may not just be one, but others. So that's the importance behind it. The actual crimes themselves are individual, but the people behind them link back to the party. If they're capable of such things, were they also capable of such things back then when Noah was about? That's what the question is. So when people just brush off and say, well, this doesn't link, well, you never know. Was Ace alone when he caught charges? Well, technically, I guess he wasn't alone to be harming someone. So there would have been a witness, a victim about, likely. Michelle says, no, Ace had a cousin with him. Now, was that cousin supporting, encouraging it at the time, or did they have no clue it was going to happen? George, now his co-accused was Isaac Montez, who was charged as an accessory to Ace's crimes. Who is Isaac Montez? Is Isaac Montez the cousin which Michelle is saying? Isaac Montez being considered for probation. What I do understand is, when it comes to all these different names, friends, cousins, relatives of said partygoers who have later committed a crime, there's a lot of names that come about. You can see Isaac Montez charges and outcomes on that same court case in OSCM. Well, just as a heads up, George Choden, I won't be able to, because with me being in a different country, it won't let me access OSCN, so I can't check. Ace has a ton of relatives, but those relatives, good people, bad people, safe people, dangerous people, if they weren't at the party, then there's not much links there. I'm going to try and keep it somewhat under control so the list doesn't expand too far. Montez appeared in court today, granted probation, updated information today on OSCM. Okay. So, at least the last thing, with Ace being classified by some as on the run or not being present. Why is that? They don't want to show up. They don't want to take accountability. They're scared. They're worried. I mean, there's been some arguments by people made that certain defendants that didn't respond back or weren't served immediately, and there was that 180-day extension period, and people said, well, those type of people, they're probably hiding in Texas, hiding elsewhere, or at least were at some point. Would those type of people also say that, well, Ace Franco in this situation could be hiding and on the run? Because if people say, no, it sounds a bit one-sided and biased yet again. Right, Sam, with that being said, what's the reaction from people when it comes to Ace Franco? I said I will go back over stuff here and there just so people know why the links are being made. All comments. Just rest the phone there. Oh, so Renee, a different Renee, says, "What is the cemetery story with a sports vehicle?" So that came about on the post of Tim Daniel to do with Ace. Interesting. Right, so Tim Daniel, does he give an explanation here? We will get to the cemetery story. I was really trying to confirm details as best as I can. I really do actually try and check with as many sources, versions, and see what sounds the most believable. But the quick of it is one of the girls wanted to visit her deceased sibling's gravesite, and another girl went with her, and a blue sports car came into the cemetery parking lot, terrified them by peeling out and kicking up gravel at them. And then later that night, when the other girl went home, someone allegedly followed her to her house and scared her so bad she had to get a neighbor to come and park a car in her driveway to feel safe, all on a Ringer camera. I'm told, take the details here with a grain of salt, as I've heard a couple of slight variations on if she rode in the blue sports car with him or if he followed her, hoping someone else heard this story directly from these kids. All of them have relatives who are active on the groups, whether it's a mom or uncle or whatever. I'm learning and sharing everything right along as I learn. I'm not someone who withholds information. Right, so this situation here, what linking to Isaac Camarillo. So just intimidating, scaring someone. The following part, creepy, yes, if it is true. But the bit before that, turning up in a car, kicking gravel, can make you jump, unnecessary behaviour, petty maybe. But what's the point in scaring a group of girls, females? What good does it do? What's the gain from it? Does it link back? Let me just check. George Isaac went to the cemetery and was stunt driving, kicking up gravel with the tyres. So messing about, what, trying to show off, and indirectly it scared the girls that were present. Now, did Isaac go to the cemetery because he knew the girls were going to be there? Or was it just passing? Presgrove Project, Georgia acting. What? He doesn't own or know. Oh no, Presgrove Project. Your voice to type things messed up. You meant George, not Georgia. This sounds like Georgia from Caden's cousin. Oh boy. Joyce, Michael, like you don't. I've seen and heard enough where you are asking people for their phone, tablet, and computer serial numbers when supposedly people have been hacked. Oh god, not the hacking thing. There's been some stuff that's been going about on Reddit, I believe, recently. Michelle, I believe it was Caden Pressey that said Carter went to the cemetery with someone in a sports car. Right, let's just check a few more comments maybe whilst here. Oh, speaking of which, George did show up. Strange how the order of comments have just changed when I look back at the screen. I don't know why it does that. Oh my god, 336. If you wonder what I'm looking at, just as a very brief overview, sorry if it's too bright. Doesn't seem to show. It's probably just the colouring of the screen, right? It's just a post by Tim Daniel and Ace Franco. So basically, what's happened is one event has then opened up the doors to previous events. It's about trying not to go too off subject. If certain events happen post death of Noah, but the people involved are linked to the party, there can be possible links made. Okay. Oh, bloody Facebook. So unreliable. All right. Petra, it seems to me like several of the partygoers have had issues with the law. Just saw another post where Mikey Lair, that was, yeah. This is, does anyone know if the person above was an admirer of Carter Combs? Could this person's romantic feelings have been dismissed by her? What? Laura Dutton said the fight would have been between Jack Newton, AF, who's AF, right, and before the bathroom pick with Noah. The bathroom pick with Noah, which was Noah and Jack at, some claimed, was it 1:50 in the morning? Sorry, but right, I guess AF means Ace Franco. These bloody abbreviations. The fight would have been between Jack Newton and Ace Franco. What? I've never heard of a fight with Ace Franco and Jack at the party. This is what I'm welcome back to, all these supposed events. George, the story about the fight that Isaac Camarillo initiated was because he thought some kid had punched or scratched his car. So Isaac initiated some kind of fight before he actually went to his vehicle to check if it was really scratched or not. Impulsive behavior, it looks like. But there's alcohol involved. If they're drunk at the time, they're probably not going to think the same. Laura, as far as I know, Noah had a girlfriend. Well, yeah. And doubt he was interested in her like that. Oh, Laura, but we've heard the stories where it's been mentioned, even Noah's own family. Noah's aunt, one of Noah's cousins, was it Ashley Chadwick, Robin Smith on Partners in True Crime said Noah Presgrove did more than kissing with Logan Jernigan. So Noah may have had a girlfriend at the time who wasn't at the party, but Noah was also getting a bit close and intimate, supposedly, with Logan Jernigan. This one says, I was asking if Ace Franco was into Carter Combs. Does anyone know? Does anyone think that Ace Franco had any romantic interest with any party girls at the time? How are we doing for the poll? Do you believe Mikey was brought to the 38% say yes, 27% say no? Okay. Not too much movement there. Let me try another poll in a second. Joyce, he stated Sweat left when Jack and Carter were arguing. Yes, Joyce. Caden Pressey, that Facebook Messenger conversation private in the background, that one, when Caden did his little list of who went, who came, who left, and that was mentioned, Brylan Sweat leaving when Jack and Carter were arguing. But as we know, Brylan Sweat ultimately left and didn't come back to the party when it was at the very end, when post-death of Noah and Caden give him a ride home. So, Joyce, when Brylan Sweat left, what day was it? What time? Did he have his own vehicle? Because if he did, why was he giving a ride home with Caden? Brenda, Michelle, I've only ever heard bits and pieces of the cemetery visit. Yeah, I've heard very small bits about a cemetery reference in the past, but that was all. AF, Ace Franco. Yeah, it's first time, recent time of people abbreviating it like that. I said, welcome to anyone that is watching the live stream. You want to spread awareness, you want to hit the thumbs up or share the live stream so more people get to see it. Latest breaking news on the case and Partygoers beyond what's been involved recently. He's stating, yeah, we've seen George. The argument Jack and Noah had, Noah apparently felt like he lost his best friend because Jack was spending more and more time with Carter, and then that argument interrupted to break up the Isaac fight. George, when you're referring to that, are you referring to Saturday night crossing into past midnight? Because if so, Caden Pressy's account is very different, as we know. Caden Pressy was wording it that Noah was yelling at Jack because Jack was flirting with Noah's girlfriend behind his back. So Caden says that. We know Caden has been a bit unreliable at times, but why would he say it that way? Saturday night, right, George? So what you said there, Caden said something different. Caden's a liar. Why would Caden lie about that when it could be just petty arguments? Why make it something why it's not? How does Caden benefit from that exactly? Ellen, Laura is crazy, comes up with some of the wall stuff, and she's hateful to anybody except for her partner in crime, that Judy girl. I mean, yeah, the thing is, Ellen, I came across Laura Dutton previously, unfortunately, when it came to a group chat on Facebook at the time of when Vanessa Salazar was present, alive, and about. And it came to that time where I woke up one day, Vanessa Salazar was upset. I was being blamed just for waking up and saying hi. Laura Dutton came in like a detective. Detective Dutton couldn't even understand what they were saying because of their tone of voice and accent and obstructions in the mouth, possibly when they were talking. And I was like, calm yourself down, simmer down, Laura, get a grip of yourself. What's going on here? And she's like, questions. I need answers. I need answers. What have you done to Vanessa Salazar? Excuse me? What is this? The Me Too movement? Calm yourself down. Overly emotional behavior, overly driven by incompetence, impetuous, egocentric, and emotionally biased behavior, conflict of interest. And I said, I will answer your questions in the correct order. If not, this conversation ends. And when simply trying to ask Laura what was going on, they kept going round and round in circles, whining and moaning. So that's typical. Beth, I crashed my car. Yes, Beth Carr was another incompetent, two-faced individual who appeared one way here and appeared different elsewhere. So here's that. Killer Kitty says, any idea who Isaac was trying to fight? Isaac Camarillo. Joyce Begau, Caden stated Brylan drove a red Mustang there. Yes, I do remember that, Joyce. My question is, Joyce, if on the Monday that Brylan had his Mustang at the house, why was Brylan a passenger to Caden when being driven home? What happened there? Who collected Brylan's Mustang after that? Is it because Brylan was too drunk to drive? Laura always has a partner. Oh boy. George, reasons for Caden lying. As per Justin Roy, Caden had been working behind the scenes for him. For Caden to be working behind the scenes for Justin Roy, how does Caden benefit there? Is one getting paid off? And there's no harm in questioning that when Justin and others, especially Justin, has been very vocal about just me supposed to be paid off like this and that, and other people being paid off just for changing opinions and looking in different directions. Brenda, Joyce, then why did Sweat ride back to Duncan with Caden? Who the hell came and got the red car? Exactly. You know, whereabout was Brylan's red Mustang parked at the party house? Has it been caught on camera out of the party footage, I wonder? Interesting. 26 people present. We can bump that up just a little bit more so we get more people coming on in, hopefully. Don't know what time are we on. 20, not too bad, I guess. Anything else going on here? Maybe do it for another hour or so. We'll just see how things go, of course, if anything else develops in between. Ellen, Warlight Ref, so glad to know I'm not the only one that thinks Sam. Mm, good for you. I'm glad you could handle her. Yes, I did handle her without the use of any tools, no whips needed. Um, yes, I did go round and round in circles, but you just got to treat people like they're your patient. Dr. Warlike Ref will take it serious and will take in consideration humans. Because look, this is a key thing to acknowledge, Ellen, as a heads up. It might not work on Facebook, but it can work on YouTube. If you come across a toxic, negative, dodgy person, high resistant individual, sometimes go to their YouTube channel, check if they've got their playlist public, check their playlist, check their songs, their musics, their different playlist titles, and you can get a bit of a profile about them. See, I came across one obsessed negative individual with me. I went onto their YouTube profile. I looked at their playlist. Their playlist involved like a memory track to do with their father passing away and some other stuff. They had another playlist called Sober or Recovery, and it was playlist of videos and music, and it developed a pattern that the person was somewhat mentally unstable. They've struggled in the past with a traumatic event. They've sought to alcohol as a means of coping, which in the short term may work, but the long term it does not. Leads to addiction, having to try and get clean, relapsing in between, other struggles along the way. I can look at someone's playlist, a story can be told, even if they have just random bits of music, the titles of those music videos, and I can link on one song linking to another. If it's all about heartbreak, if it's all about being stabbed in the back, well, then likely that's what they've gone through. And then it can explain why they are with you, taking it out on the wrong person, collateral damage. They shouldn't be doing it in the first place, but likely they could be struggling, suffering inside. Not like you give them the red carpet treatment, but you can use it as a way of predicting why they are the way they are and what they could do next. When you're on Facebook, it might be a bit harder because stuff may be more private and may not share. But that's why I say it. In other news, as for the Kenny Veach case, we're dealing with resistance there. The I don't think Tim Daniels about, but like anyone that finds it a bit light-hearted, the current obsessions with Warlight Ref, some males have been obsessing recently about, is Warlight Ref growing a beard or not? That's not much of one. You can either grow it completely or you don't bother at all in or all out. Seems to be a lot of sexual tension about how hairy is Warlight Ref. Oh, get it all. Yeah, keep on growing. I really want it all. Calm yourself down. Okay, I'm not a gorilla. I'm not Chewbacca. I might sound like it at times, but there's obsessions with whether Warlight Ref has a beard or not. There's obsessions with does Warlight Ref blink or not. But at the end of the day, Joyce Begow, where are you at? Is a witness to Warlight Ref winning the 2024 blinking championship game, in which Joyce tried having a stare down with me during a pre-recorded live premiere, and I did not blink for 10 minutes straight. I even impressed myself when I rewatched it afterwards. Not that I watch myself too much, but yeah, just unusual. But there is obsessions about whether I blink or not. Some people have tried diagnosing me as a psychopath just because I don't blink. And that's only because I'm talking in the intro. How incompetent are people? People watch a 10 to 30-second intro of me not blinking. Why is that? Because I'm trying to find the fucking camera on the device because I don't know if I'm looking at the correct one or not. I'm trying to focus in on that because the last time I tried focusing in, you had someone in underpants outside walking about in the garden trying to distract me. Were they hired? Were they paid off to distract me by wearing tight underpants and nothing else? Was I deserving to see that? I don't think so. So there are distractions along the way. So if I focus in on the camera, I'm going to be less distracted, right? And whilst focusing in, I may not blink. And then other times I will blink naturally because my eyes will dry up. It's not that deep, but some people want it deep. And why? How deep do you want it? How deep will you go? But there's some very naughty behavior. Just like the Noah Presgrove case, in the Kenny Veach case, people have been saying, you need to stop covering the case. There's nothing to see here. It's the end of the road. It's pretty much simplified as to what's happened. You don't need to bother anymore. Why is that? People come across as if they know the actual truth and they don't want you to cover it anymore. You should cover it if you want to, if you're interested, and so on. Ellen, very interesting on the playlist. Yeah, I mean, not everybody's playlist is public, but just like with music, someone that has a playlist of music, you look at the different songs, the meanings, and the lyrics. If there is a pattern of certain type of music, it will tell a story. Now, if humans tried analyzing my music playlist, they'd be confused as hell. Beside that, Brenda, Joyce, your Warlight refs, receipts for not blinking. Yeah, Joyce, yeah, all the receipts, get them all out. Always bring the receipts. Whoa, yeah, 500 receipts and more. That's one record I will not be able to break myself. Right, was there any more key post made? Anything else that's come about recently? See, just as a heads up, sometimes what's happened is when there's been breaking news, there's been an update in the case or court papers documents. What's ended up happening in the daytime, I did a video about it, and then hours later in the afternoon, evening, there's been an update to it or a counterpoint, and by then I can't record it because it's already done. So then I have to wait till the next day. Oh, Joyce says thousands, not 500. I'm so sorry, Joyce. Please forgive me. I must be a bit behind. Yeah, 1,000, of course. 500, that's nothing, is it? You know, Joyce Bergow has thousands of receipts, almost as close to the amount of times she's filled the holes when doing the cornhole. 1,000 sacks full. Actually, I'm sure I've heard a conspiracy, Joyce Bergow, that some of your cornhole sacks secretly contain receipts. I don't know if you know about that. Stephen, well, girls like your... Sorry, what's that? Stephen, well, girls like your pictures, Warlight Ref, the chest, the biceps, the back. My girlfriend liked them so. It's natural. Ooh, easy there, Steve. Warlight Ref doesn't have a problem with the gals. So if anyone's wondering, because I think Stephen wants a little demonstration right now, you're not going to get the real thing. No, it's a bit too far. But to be honest, I'm very sorry to disappoint people. That is an outdated emoji of my back. I do have more modern ones of my back. I need to update it because that does look like a Thanksgiving turkey. Looks a bit burnt. I'll need to update that. Don't really do the, I'm going to say frontal, that sounds very dodgy, that one's a bit outdated as well. Oh, Donna Bond shows up at the time of when those emojis. Okay. Anyway, what else do we have? See, there's other stuff that has gone about in recent time. As for the additional notes besides the supposed breaking news, so welcome back, Donna 007. So the recent activity, you originally had that subpoena when it came to the estate family, Noah Presgrove, wanting the official subpoena, originally wanting discovery investigative material from the different agencies, authorities, which have been collected over time to be handed over. So then the family could look at the interviews, the photos, the footage, and all that to see if they could pick up on anything which others have not, to see who could be responsible, check for contradictions and whatnot. Then after that, there was that counter subpoena. Was it by RSBI or so? The counter one. And it was deemed as, at the end of the day, the material is going to remain private, confidential. And supposedly the family aren't going to have the access to it either. And then what? The end of that. We've also seen some dodgy attacks and false claims by Justin Roy and something Henderson with a great profile picture. On my old videos, Justin has been active in, whilst he may not like me or my channel or coverage, he keeps consuming it, engaging and leaving comments, sometimes complaining, other times not. Henderson claiming that I was their friend, they were my friend, even though I never spoke to them or bothered with them, which was unusual. Strange behavior. As for the theme of covering for someone or some people in the case, whilst we may have seen that to some extent or people pushing it in one direction, have we seen it from other directions? I mean, on a very brief scale, you could say when it came to people that were elsewhere, non-party goers, but may have taken a look at the Snapchat to monitor the party footage at a point in time of when things were ongoing, checking on in, seeing how people were, their friends, their family, etc. When it comes to the wrongful death lawsuit and who's responsible and responsibilities, safeguarding Noah, presence of alcohol. If adults knew about it, they should have done more. And examples like Stevie Howard, Johnny Trout Wilcoxon being responsible for that, claim that they knew at the party but didn't stop it or didn't take action intervention with the whole underage drinking. But then you've got, just as an example, Justin Roy, who said he looked at the party footage. Did he see alcohol in the background or not? If not, understandable. If it was obvious or they saw alcohol, turned a blind eye, why are they not mentioning the wrongful death lawsuit? And even if it's not the alcohol part, just the partying and any other rules broken in between. I mean, do we have another poll? No, we don't at this moment in time. Donna House ref. Yeah, I'm okay. What else do we have? The debate, past criminal actions prior to Noah's death versus post-death criminal actions. I think if it's within someone and they're capable, whether they do it before Noah's death, before the party, or after the party, I think it's still a serious matter. To be around potential dangerous people, potential criminals, it's not a good place to be for Noah. Donna Cool, one of the reasons for the RAF glossary. What happened to, I can't remember the user's name. Were they called Honey or something? What happened to the person that did the ref glossary? I've not seen them since. Did they disappear or did they change their username? Now, beside Facebook and what's going on there, there's been some stuff going on with Reddit too. Now, hopefully I'll be able to access it, unless I'm banned. For what though? No good reason. And speaking of Reddit, there was one dodgy thing on Reddit. Basically, when you join different pages and communities, there was the content creator page on Reddit where you can share content, spread awareness of what you do and the videos that you make. But it went under a bit of a overhaul redesign of the page. It went from content creators as in YouTubers to content creators as in OnlyFans. So then the next time I clicked on the page unaware and it said, you need to verify your age. Are you 18 plus whatever? And I said, okay, then went through all that. And the next thing you know, massive eclipse, things all on the screen. Whoa, almost got slapped in the face by them. And I'm thinking, wait, am I on the right page? And supposedly I was. And I thought, well, what do I do now? Oh, well, besides people showing bits and bobs, I'll actually continue with the coverage, true crime. And then later I realized the petty twats ended up auto-moderating and took my post down, which makes sense at the end of the day. But I thought, well, no point me being here, so I left. And what didn't help was in the title or username, it said fucking 18 plus adult creator. Why am I an adult creator? I'm not doing anything like that. It's all because of that stupid page. So I managed to untick the adult creator thing. Oh my God. So that was a bit weird. Right, so what's going on here? Excellent spite. 6 days ago, it's been confirmed who leaked Caden Press's interview, Denise Rogers Arnold. Well, wasn't that already mentioned? Or was it that Denise Rogers Ah, Caden Pressey's interview. Right, not the police interview, but the other interview with the Netflix situation. 6 days ago, wasn't it? Well, maybe it was more in the background in the past. We've got the waffles. Oh, God. Right, so what is this anyway? Is it shown on screen? Hmm. Oh, that's the sofa sleeves one, isn't it? So this is what's been posted on Reddit. How's the frogs, Donna? You've been looking after the frogs? Oh, there we got Tim Daniel. The interview that Alicia herself leaked. No, Tim. What excellent Spike's referring to, I'm guessing, is the interview or the leaked audio where Caden Pressey was either talking to the Netflix or Caden Pressey talking to is it Kathy Bingham in the office? That related stuff where Caden was willing to wire up to get the people to speak up or spill the beans, his friends. Pam Feldman Garrison, I just listened to almost 2.5 hours of the interview. Mind blown is all I can say. Brooke, I love OHP. Little snarky comments. Ah, Denise Rogers, they were worth the trip. Right, okay then. I mean, if this is to do with the. See, this is what I mean. Humans do not make it clear. So just hold on a second, Tim. Humans do not make it clear. Caden Pressey interview could really mean anything. Caden Pressey interview back in what 2023, Caden Pressey interview 2024, Caden Pressey interview with or without police or Netflix. I don't know. They should make it clearer. Well, actually, was there another? Hang on, there was another slide. Denise Rogers, I think she's talking about the 2 hour interview with Caden. What 2 hour interview? The police one? Stevie Howard, yes, she is. Brooke Carter is clutch. She is the MVP. Who? It's been confirmed. How does that confirm Denise is responsible through these comments? Oh my God. I mean, I do remember Denise's name being brought up in the past about being responsible, but it was too vague, those screenshots, what it was referring to. I mean, at the end of the day, Alicia shouldn't have shared it with anyone. Whether you believe people or not, whether you trust people or not. And that's the thing, like, even if Justin has reached out to people, trusted in people, why? Because let's just bring this into the discussion right now, okay? When it comes to true crime, people are invested and interested and, get really involved emotionally or just down to interest. But at the end of the day, at what cost? Some people get so sucked into true crime, they forget of their surrounding. Time passes by quick. They may neglect certain responsibilities in life. And if they've got families or friends or whatever, loved ones, partners, they might neglect them too. You get sucked into true crime, sucked into online, sucked into drama. It can be a bit of a black hole. And in that, I'd say it just comes down to the role of the different people. You could be a member of the general public as a hobby and interest involved in true crime and communities. And then it strengthens because then you get appointed a moderator of a YouTube channel, a moderator of a Facebook page. So you feel there's more responsibility now, maybe more of a purpose, but it also means more commitment, what you're getting involved in. So you get sucked in even further with the commitments, the responsibilities. You might wear it as a badge of honor, but then it can get quite consuming, draining, and tiring down the line. And when you get spat out afterwards, you think, oh, where am I? What have I missed out on? if you're like a content creator or so, it makes sense for being present and being around often, maybe daily, because there's a bit more to it. Creating content on top of researching and that being a main theme. As for bigger creators and full on ones, of course, it makes sense as for them being around. Is it healthy? Well, based under the circumstances and the conditions of why and the role and how they can do it, it's more normal. It does make more sense. See, the thing is with true crime, how many channels out there do cover true crime cases like this, as in on a day-to-day basis or a weekly basis? A lot of the bigger true crime channels tell a story about a previous case already solved or gone cold. Not many people are covering cases onwards, as in what could have happened, what is going on. I mean, the ones I've come across, you've got Michelle After Dark, you got Harsh Reality, they're from the UK. You had what? Bullhorn Betty, that random person. Anyone else? Maybe it's just YouTube, they just don't show the channels, but I don't really see that many true crime channels covering cases on a day-to-day basis, or maybe a missing person related one. Ooh, it's getting a little bit quieter tonight. Slow down a little bit, but never mind. What else do we have here? Donna, y'all see what's being said about another group of these kiddos? I really hope people are paying attention as to why people were asked to not talk about information they turned in. Ellen, one day at a time, I thought they were two, and I tried to explain that, but it's like once they get something in their head. I did watch the Idaho case on Peacock, and I was saddened by it. I did cover the Idaho 4 case, but whilst people were focusing in on the case, when I went on Street View imagery at the university or the high school, I ended up seeing like 3, 4 camels being walked down the path. I don't know why I came across a load of camels at the Idaho 4 university, but I've not been able to retrace it since. I don't know what I came across, camels with humps. But I did a bit of brief coverage on Idaho 4, not too deep because I wasn't there from day one. If I was, it might have been different. You know, there's some case out there, Jay Slater. If I stuck with them from the beginning, if I actually dug my teeth in, who knows where we would be right now. But it's just unfortunate timing. When I lock in with a case, other stuff may come about, which is just as important, if not more popular. But moving about too often can be messy, personally, all over the place. Juggling around with different cases can get a bit tricky, or at least it can. I'm surprised no one's mentioned about the spider in the background. Not many comments since about that. Tim Daniel, did you already talk about how Mikey's sister came on and told Michael to cut the crap about her brother? No, I didn't see that, Tim Daniel. Is that on Facebook? What post is it on exactly? What Facebook page is it on? Mikey's sister says he is not in jail. Well, there were some people earlier on saying Mikey has been released from custody or something. But there was at least a mugshot. It's on Michael's Presgrove Project page. Well, I'll have a little look at that, Tim. Appreciate that. Was there anything else going on here? But there's some activity going on the Noah Presgrove Reddit page 3 hours ago by Excellent Spy. If anyone has been attacked, harassed, or doxxed, please read this. Oh no. Boss Babe has shown up as well. I don't know why Boss Babe turned on me at that point. A bit unusual. Let's see if we can get it on. I can't keep up. I think Tim, Michael did a correction in the live chat here earlier on about something to do with Mikey. 23 hours ago, Mikey Lair is now facing felony charges for robbery. Maybe this is the one. Make sure all the comments are showing. Let's see if I can find it. Jasmine Rene. Is Jasmine Rene the one you're referring to, Tim, as Mikey's sister? Well, maybe not. It's just because, let me just read it first. Jasmine, hope this helps, but he's not in custody. Tim says yes. So Jasmine Rene is Mikey's sister. Okay, supposedly. So Mikey is not in custody, and none of his stuff has absolutely nothing to do with Noah's case. Well, I think that's obvious, that part, but it's just the theme of if partygoers are capable of criminal actions breaking laws, were they also capable back then when Noah was at the party? Jasmine says, this is a very long reach. The mistakes he's making in his life right now has nothing to do with what happened. If you actually knew Mikey, you'd know he'd do anything to help Noah's case. The fact that you're saying he's in custody when in fact he's not, if you're going to speak about something, make sure it's actual facts. Then Michael responds saying, I confirmed with the jail he is currently not in their custody. I updated the post to reflect that. Maybe sometimes it's best doing the post once the update's there. I don't have any preconceptions about Mikey. I do think he wants answers for Noah. I'm also aware that certain pressures can override that someone wants. Right, so in case you're wondering what it looks like on screen, or at least I'll try to show it. That there. If it shares clear enough. Ellen, that excellent spite lady is also kind of crazy from what I can tell. I'll tell you, Sky. Oh, welcome, Sky. Good about your hair. I love the spider. It's on good behavior. Brenda, Susan accused 3 members of stalking and doxing because they watched a video she posted publicly in the name of Andrea. Oh, no. Shout out if Andrea's still watching in the background. Yeah, so when Brenda says Susan, Brenda is referring to Boss Babe, also known as, I think, Susan Edenfield or something. Ellen, excellent spite lady. Joyce, don't worry, I'm the nasty one. Yeah, so another thing is, Ellen, as a heads up, when it came to being on that Reddit page in the past, excellent spite folded into the pressures of other people and ended up removing a handful of my videos because it wasn't deemed as discussion worthy enough. But excellent spite also allowed a post, a deep one, about a photo of Jack Newton and girlfriend Carter Combs exploring the world going on holiday. That was allowed, but my videos about the actual case were removed. So it says a lot. Brenda, I don't know if Susan is Boss Babe. Well, from what I remember, Brenda, they are. They are that. Boss Babe is Susan Edenfield. But, unless there's 2 lots of Susans, right? Mm. I mean, let's not forget Warlight Wrath and all those deep fake AI videos of me without my consent. The amount that was made. The sexual deviant activity threats aimed my way by you know who. A person whose hairline has rejected them and looks like it's gone through a divorce. Big out, yep, screw them. Don't accuse people of being admins and make psychotic comments. Oh God, you had that time with Jen Zakuda, also known as Excellent Spite, and when it came to Joyce Begau on Facebook comments, and then Jen Zakuda now, oh God, I remember that one. Oh, why has it kicked me off? Let me just get back to the Presgrove project page. Trailing off just a little bit, getting a little bit quieter. What time are we on? Might end it in about 20 minutes, we'll just see. I just wanted to catch up with where we're at the case. Mikey is my brother, says Jasmine Rene. Jasmine, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but if you're involved in something like this, they always lie detector you. We wish we knew something, but I feel like posting stuff like this that has nothing to do with the case helps it. Everybody makes mistakes and everybody goes through a rough time. Well, some people make more mistakes than others. I do believe you are using the word rumor. I just wasn't going to sit here and let you post something to make people think Mikey had anything to do with Noah's death nor knows anything about it that hasn't already been talked about. I mean, at the end of the day, Mikey was supposedly on camera, Snapchat post 5:27 in a bed with Logan, Jasmine awake, happy, not knowing of Noah's death, and Caden's saying that, well, already knew about the death, and Mikey was with Caden at the highway at 5:27, but the Snapchat shows that Mikey was at the house. Caden says it in words. People provide counterpoints in hard evidence, or material at least. Donna, I love the videos they've done of me. They give me free rent in their heads. But someone like me, I do not benefit from it whatsoever. I know people say imitation is a form of flattery, but I do not benefit whatsoever. When I come across disease-ridden, degenerative, like bombastic individuals, I do not benefit. Sometimes if I let it go, it can get worse. Sometimes long-term, it can damage credibility, hence why humans will do that. It tends to be males that do it as well. So I do feel that there is a bit of a gay obsession going on towards me, which is very unfortunate. I do not want that. I am not gay. And what do we have? Michael Facekas said, as for that the conjoint robbery, second co-defendant is listed in court records as unknown. Victim is a private party, non-business. The charging document alleges a 2013 Honda was taken and transported to the state of Texas. So this may be joint jurisdiction in the federal courts. Sam, I don't know, Tim Daniel, if you're still about, but George Choden suggested that the timing of when Ace Franco was supposed to be appearing in court was on the 4th, and the day before is when the robbery took place. With Mikey Lares, it was Mikey stealing a vehicle to assist in Ace Franco getting away, escaping. Donna, 100% agree with you, Raf, on that part. Donna, there's going to be some interesting posts later on. I was dealing with the bigger picture today, so I couldn't respond to some of the messages. I was just waiting until I get home. Donna, Raf, consider the source. He lives in his mother's basement and sat in front of a computer in his wide front with a pea stain drinking chocolate milk. Okay. Was there any more? I'll have a quick look at the Reddit post in a second. Julianne, so many strange things happening. Something about him sounded off, as in Mikey Lair. Then he is with the girls in bed or whatever that morning. Came out about his Snapchat 5:27. Weird. I wouldn't say it's weird, just resting in a bed, eyes open, beside someone. Not much going on there. Now, this is not looking good. Others mentioned who broke the law were also just disgraceful to party people. Yeah, I believe it was Logan Snap. Right, so that's it for that part. God, it's quite short. What's shown here? It's the one on Reddit at the moment. It shows. So, if anyone has been attacked, harassed, and doxed, please reads. If you have been attacked, harassed, and doxed by any person on Facebook or Reddit, please message me personally on Facebook or Reddit. Their little cult is still doing this to people, and we're going to stop it. Ellen, gay obsession. I hope you're not gay. I will have to start chasing after somebody else. Well, don't worry, Ellen. I am as straight as the highway. Yeah, man. All under control. So, Ellen, no need to worry. Boss Babe says, I've never seen this level of twisted and evil. They do it for the entire world to see, including lawyers and judges. This shows the true character they are, and they should be the most hated people by now. Oh, God, Tim. I think Tim Daniels needs cooling down a little bit. It's getting a little bit warm. There you go, Tim. Don't worry, I'll update the Christmas has come early. Woo! There we go. Actually, just because I feel like it. Give me a second. There we go. That one's never gets old. Doxing people isn't one-sided within the case. Yep, all over the place. It's a bit crazy and wild, of course. I mean, on YouTube, you had that individual over there, creator, that was threatening to come to my place, which, unusual, unnecessary behavior. But look, this act of doxing happens in most true crime communities. It starts out as people get together, different people, chat, communicate. Then come the disagreements, and that's the beginning. Disagreements turn to petty behavior, turn to acts of needing to attack someone and revenge just because there's disagreements, escalates, and keeps on going to the point of where the act of doxing is used. Now, if people didn't know, I was accused of doxing a woman's ginger cat because I read out a public comment on YouTube where they said, "Ooh, my little kitty and his daddy is coming round for tea, round the tea table to drink some tea." So I got accused of that. The only thing that I should be accused of, which is absolutely true, is I'm very good at purring. Okay, that's about it. What's this? Dang it. Tim, I didn't see you. Exactly, Tim. Massive face palms. Anyway, I've caught up there with most of the stuff. If there's any questions or if there's any theories or thoughts that you have or you want to point to me on the case, feel free to do so. I'll probably do a bit of a countdown now, and then we'll see where we are, and then I might leave it there because I have talked about everything for today and what's gone on. Of course, things will slow down in some ways because officially what's going on in the background appears to be confidential and just a wall of silence. It does open up the possibilities of people talking about previous events, current events, and others twiddling their thumbs where it could escalate in different ways. Victim cards, that's happened in the Dylan Rounds case a lot. See, the reason why some people will play the victim card is so then they can be treated more leniently when things go wrong, they get called out. They do what they do their darkness. When they're called out, they're not sorry for their behavior, they're sorry for being caught in the act. Similarly, in similar fashion, they may even just say, "Oh, I did this and I said that because I'm just not in the right frame of mind. Oh, I've got problems. Oh, I'm dealing with stuff. Oh, this and that." Excuses. But it's not always excuses, but they might use it as one, or they might use it in a manipulative way, emotional blackmail, wording to be treated more leniently. Stephen, well, no one didn't do a deep video on law enforcement in the Noah Presgrove case. It would be a good one. Okay, take care, Donna. Right, I'm going to start doing the countdown right now. Any final points? We're at the 2-hour mark as well, so that's okay. Hopefully, up to now, audio, visual has been okay, and hopefully the flow has been okay too. Any comments or anything, feel free to leave below. Take care, Sky and Joyce again. Okay. So 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Brenda, Warlike Raft, the person I'm thinking of playing victim calls people names, insults for no reason, and accuses others of what they're doing. Okay. Great live as usual, Raf. Appreciate that. Key West, take care. And Criminal Med as well. Little Sky joining in with the countdown. We'll start from 15 then. 15, 14, 13. See, the reason why I do a countdown is because you can't even get a countdown on screen, so I'm hiring myself to do that. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and there we go. So, with that all being said, we'll see what happens next, of course. In the Noah Presgrove case, breaking news, could possibly do a live stream. I don't know if it's a bit too late now, but can always leave it in the comments section. If you prefer Noah Presgrove videos being done in this format as a live stream, you can let me know. Or if you prefer as a pre-recorded video where I can actually show stuff on screen. Maybe when it comes to analyzing certain footage, pre-recorded, but discussions and whatnot, could do it as a live. But you can leave your thoughts and comments down below or when it's possible to do so, because I know this live will process and take a few hours or half a day for it to come about. Tim Daniel live is fun. It does help as well, of course, because it's like live questions and answers on the spot, which is needed. Good job. Thanks for the video again. You're welcome, Ellen. Sky says lives are fun. That's good to hear. As for the Kenny Veach stuff, sometimes I do a live stream for that. Sometimes at the end of the week to do like a recap of everything that's happened, a debriefing, and just an add-on. So with that all being said, there will be a Kenny Veach video, M Cave Mystery, coming out maybe tomorrow, the day after, just see what needs to be covered, and then we'll go from there. So, interesting stuff going on in the Noah Presgrove case. You never know what's around the corner. So shout out to all those that are watching at this moment in the background and those that had joined earlier. That's it for now. My name's Warlike Raf. Goodbye and good night.